Hello from the Bureau. Today is Friday the 28th of February and here's an update on severe tropical cyclone Alfred, which continues to move southwards in the Coral Sea, and over the course of Friday and Saturday it will move closer to Queensland, and that will bring a significant increase in coastal hazards to parts of eastern Queensland. We'll dive into it with the latest information, but before we look at the track we have to understand where Alfred is now, which is why we always look at the satellite imagery to begin, and this is Alfred out here. So far through Friday morning it's had a reasonably well-defined eye here in the middle. That eye has been covered in cloud from time to time, but certainly can see the rotation around that as a Category 3 severe tropical cyclone. It's estimated that the winds around Alfred at the moment are gusting around about 220 kilometres an hour. That is exceptionally powerful wind out over these open waters. Across mainland Queensland we've seen some pretty gusty conditions of around 70 to 80 kilometres an hour for many coastal areas. I'll now put on the track for the remainder of Friday and through until Saturday afternoon, and we can actually see that Alfred is likely to veer closer to Queensland, and that distance is going to shrink. So it's about 700 kilometres off the coast at the moment. That could be down to around about 400 kilometres by Saturday afternoon. So certainly getting closer. It will be windy. It will be a few showers across the southeast of Queensland, but the main impacts will be across the Queensland coast. And because of that, we have issued a coastal hazards warning. It's a little bit hard to see here because of course it does hug the coastline. So we'll zoom in a little bit closer and see where it goes. It starts just south of Gladstone near 1770, runs down to Bundaberg, then picks up at Sandy Cape, goes down Fraser Island or the Gari coast, goes past Noosa Heads, the Sunshine Coast, outer parts of Brisbane, down into the Gold Coast, and it stops at Coolangatta. And this warning is actually twofold. It covers damaging surf coming from the tropical cyclone. It also covers abnormally high tides. So what does that mean for people who are on or near the Queensland coast? Well, here's some of the impacts that we anticipate across those coastal areas. Firstly, dangerous for coastal activities. That's things like rock fishing, swimming, surfing, boating. All of those things on and near the water become hazardous this weekend. Inundation at high tide looks distinctly possible. Even if we forgot about Tropical Cyclone Alfred, the tides this weekend would be very high, close to the highest tides of the year. When you throw in the influence of the tropical cyclone, those tides could now be half a metre higher than the highest tides of the year, and that can lead to inundation, essentially flooding of low-lying coastal locations. So things like walkways and car parks could also include a few low-lying roads and properties for eastern parts of Queensland. Days of powerful waves onto the east coast will lead to the erosion of exposed coastlines, potentially eating away at beaches and causing damage through eastern parts of Queensland as well, much like what we see here on this picture. We're going to jump into the extended outlook now. Into early next week, we will see Tropical Cyclone Alfred veer away from the Queensland coast out into open waters once again, but likely to stay as a Category 2 tropical cyclone. And it's unusual to see a Category 2 cyclone in line with Brisbane. It does happen from time to time, but certainly hasn't happened in a few years. Now, through the second half of next week, so I'm talking Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, there are a few paths that Tropical Cyclone Alfred could take from this point onwards, and this is why we're going to continue to keep such a close watch on this system even once it starts to move away, because there's a risk that it could come back. I'm going to play one of the possible scenarios out for the second half of next week, where we could see Alfred out over the east coast through Wednesday, then Thursday, starting to veer a little bit closer to either southern parts of Queensland or northern parts of New South Wales. This is now Thursday or Friday next week, and it could see an increase in wind, rain, and again, large swell and coastal hazards. This is only one of the possible scenarios that could occur with Alfred, so it's really important that through this weekend and even out to next week, when things look like they might be easing, that you do stay up to date with the latest. Our tropical cyclone team are working round the clock, always putting the most fresh information into those tropical cyclone tracks. And you can always find the latest one on the Bureau's website. Thanks for watching. Have a safe weekend.